Hi friends, this is Chapter 8 in The Tiger Rising. Let's see what happens to Rob and Sistine and see if we can find out more things about the characters that our author, Kate DiCamillo, created in The Tiger Rising. Chapter 8. His father read the note from the principal slowly, putting his big finger under the words as if they were bugs he was trying to keep still. When he finally was done, he laid the letter on the table and he rubbed his eyes with his fingers and sighed. The rain beat a sad rhythm on the roof of the motel. They used the rain a lot. Rain when the mom died and they were at the funeral. Rain in front of the motel when he's waiting for his bus. And now rain when he brings his bad news to his dad. That stuff ain't nothing anybody else can catch, his father said. I know it, Rob told him. I already told that to the principal once before. I called up there and I told him that. Yes, sir, said Rob. His father sighed. He stopped rubbing his eyes and he looked up at Rob. Do you want to stay home? He asked. Rob nodded. His father sighed again. Maybe I'll make an appointment, get one of them doctors to write down that what you got ain't catching, all right? Yes, sir, said Rob. But I won't do it for a few days. I'll give you some time off. That would be all right, said Rob. You gotta fight them, you know, them boys. I know you don't want to, but you gotta fight them, lest they won't ever leave you alone. Rob nodded. He saw Sistine twirling and punching and kicking, and the vision made him smile. In the meantime, you're going to help me around here, his father said. You do some of the maintenance work at the motel. You can do some sweeping and cleaning for me. Beauchamp's running me ragged. There ain't enough hours in this day to do everything that man wants done. Now, go on. Hand me that medicine. His father slathered and slapped the fishy-smelling ointment on Rob's legs, and Rob concentrated on holding still. Do you think Beauchamp is the richest man in the world? He asked his father. Nah, his father said. He don't own nothing but this one itty-bitty motel now. Well, and the woods. He just likes to pretend he's rich is all. Why? I was just wondering, said Rob. He was thinking about the tiger, pacing back and forth in his cage. He was certain the tiger belonged to Beauchamp, and wouldn't you have to be the richest man in the world to own a tiger? Rob waited. He wanted desperately to go see the tiger again, but he was afraid that maybe he just imagined the whole thing. Maybe the tiger would have disappeared with the morning rain. Can I go outside? Rob asked when his father was done. No, his father said, I don't want that medicine rained off of you. It costs too much. Rob was kind of relieved that he had to stay inside. What if he went looking for the tiger and it was gone? Rob's father cooked them some macaroni and cheese for supper in the 2-burner hot plate they kept on the table near the TV. So these guys they don't have a stove. It's just a 1-room little motel with a bed and a table and a little 2-burner stove on top of the table. He boiled the macaroni too long, and a lot of it stuck to the pan, so there wasn't many noodles to go with all that powdery cheese. Someday, he said to Rob, you and me, we're going to have a house with a real stove, and I'll do some good cooking then. This is good, Rob said. Ugh. You eat all you want. I'm not hungry, his father told him. After supper, his father fell asleep in the recliner with his head thrown back and his mouth open. He snored, and his feet, big with crooked toes, jerked and trembled. In between the snores, his stomach growled long and loud as if he was the hungriest man in the world. But remember, he told Rob he wasn't hungry. What does that tell us about Rob's dad? What kind of person do you think he is? Rob sat on his bed and started to work on carving the tiger. He had a good piece of maple, and his knife was sharp, and in his mind he could see the tiger clearly, but something different came out of the wood. It wasn't a tiger at all. It was a person with a sharp nose and small eyes and skinny legs. It wasn't until he started working on the dress that he realized he was carving Sistine. He stopped for a minute and he held the wood out in front of him and shook his head in wonder. It was just like his mother said. You could never tell what would come out of the wood. It did what it wanted, and you just followed. He stayed up late working on the carving, and when he finally fell asleep, he dreamed about the tiger. Only it wasn't in a cage. It was free and running through the woods, and there was something on its back. But Rob couldn't tell what it was. As the tiger got closer and closer, Rob saw that the thing on its back was Sistine in her pink dress. She was riding the tiger. In his dream, Rob waved to her, and she waved back at him, but she didn't stop. She and the tiger kept going past Rob, deeper and deeper into the woods. What a funny dream that Rob had. What do you think that might mean? Stop and jot. What are your thoughts about Rob's dream and about Rob carving Sistine instead of the tiger that he started out to carve?